Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel where we discuss South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Whew. Is Helen Zille the bully of the GNU? Is she the bully within that GNU? Is she the hurricane within that GNU? Is she the tsunami within the GNU? Because there is no way. The new person to complain about Helen Zille's ways is Meneer Groenewald, the Minister Fund Department of Correctional Services. Anyway, he is saying that Helen Zille is demanding and irrational. Sometimes I forget that Helen Zille is a woman because of the way she provides everyone politically. Politically, she's a vurvaya. Anyway, we're going to see what Meneer Groenewald is complaining about with Helen Zille. I'm going to read a post from X by somebody. I think that person is a journalist, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, this is what is currently trending. Helen Zille is currently trending because of her ways, of her vurvaying ways. Let us see what Meneer Groenewald is complaining about. Meneer Groenewald had dead gesê. Let us read what the post says. It says, Dr. Pieter Groenewald, leader of the FF and GNU Minister of Correctional Services, lashed out against the DA's federal chair, Helen Zille's remarks that only the DA can lead and that they are rogue FF members. He said that Dawn Steenhuisen, leader of the DA and GNU Minister of Agriculture, and he are in discussions to stabilize corporate relationships. So, when Helen Zille does these things, she overshadows John Steenhuisen as the president of the Democratic Alliance. Is like now John Steenhuisen is like a puppet on a string being vurvayed around by Mrs. Helen Zille. And then Meneer Groenewald continues to say, I'm reading still, Dr. Groenewald pointed out that Zille's attacks are demanding and irrational. They are unrealistic and undermine true democracy. How many times has Helen Zille been accused of undermining democracy? Anyway, she also said something once again when she was asked by a news presenter that she was asked if this is a government of national unity or a coalition with the Democratic Alliance. She started by saying, if you do the numbers, if you calculate the numbers, you'll get your answer. But her response, in a nutshell, is saying, come on, you can see we're in a coalition. The ANC is in a coalition with the Democratic Alliance. Let us hear what she said.
There have been a lot of concerns around whether or not this actually is a government of national unity or a grand coalition. Is this a government of national unity according to your understanding and the way you negotiated?
Well, if you do the sums, you'll get the answer to that question. I mean, a government of national unity is one that includes all the major parties above a certain threshold. And that would mean it would include MK and the EFF, but it doesn't. So a party really only has muscle if they have the balance of power. Look at the composition, do the sums, and see what it is.
Okay, but Ms. Zille, I'm asking you, according to how you negotiated and your views as the DA federal chair, is this a government of national unity or is this a grand coalition?
We've all agreed to call it a government of national unity.
Okay, you've agreed to call it a government of national unity, but is it?
Well, if you look at it, if all of the other parties except the DA and the ANC were to leave the government, it would make no difference. If the DA pulled out, the government would fall. If the ANC pulled out, the government would fall. That gives you your answer.
It is the naughty face she is wearing as she answers that question. Yo, what a naughty Mrs. Helen Zille. Anyway, she says, if you can do your sums and calculate very well, you'll get your answer. And also, the government of national unity should involve other parties that meet the certain requirement, a certain threshold. And said the EFF and MK should have been there, but they are not there. Is she right? What are your views? If this was indeed the government of national unity, wasn't the MK and the EFF supposed to be there? If yes, isn't this really a coalition? Is it the government of national unity? Is it the coalition? Somebody please educate me in the comment section. She also said something, I think that was from today's interview. She is accusing LUCEY of being the one that is messing up the GNU, right? If LUCEY indeed is working against the GNU, as I've noticed that he is anti-GNU, the GNU that I love so much because I'm seeing things that I never saw before. So, if indeed he is against the GNU, that his party, the ANC, is part of, is even leading, is he not behaving badly as far as the ANC collective is concerned? Is he not supposed to be operating within the coalition? Because as things stand right now, he looks like an Arctic guy that was left behind when the MK was being formed. It's like the ANC has an MK person in there. That's how he moves, that's how he sounds. And I also saw certain photos before of him sitting with the Floyd Shivambu, and I think there were EFF members there. He was so happy around him. You know when you see somebody who is at home, you know, when you see the people that you relate with so well. So is Panyaza Lesofi on his way out of the ANC, but wants the limelight so much before exiting so that it can work for him? Because there is no way. No, there is no way. You cannot be the only one that is going around showing signs that you don't want to be the part of the GNU. The ANC is not supposed to be the part of the GNU and whatnot. So Helen Zille here is saying that LUCEY is the one that is messing up things within the coalition, quote unquote, or the GNU. Anyway, what I'm saying is Helen Zille is very naughty, very naughty, and has a bullying element in her. So I don't know, what do you think? Do you think I'm going to put that clip here first before I come back with the rest of my commentary? But this is things as they stand currently in the very interesting times of the GNU in South Africa. Listen what Helen Zille said this morning about Mr. Panyaza Lesofi.
Has the ANC now come back to you around its decision and what could happen tomorrow, whether they will support CILLIERS?
No, the ANC hasn't come back to me, which is a clear indication that they are very divided internally. So when the ANC doesn't come back, when I don't hear from them, it means that they can't reach agreement, and that is what is happening this time.
Was that the last interaction with the ANC, with that letter of the 27th of September?
I think there have been a few WhatsApp messages and things in between, but it was my last formal interaction with the ANC, yes.
Yeah. Are you privy to share those with us, what those interactions on WhatsApp were about?
Well, it was all about seeing whether we could get a stability pact going in various municipalities throughout the country, in Nelson Mandela Bay, in Tshwane, of course, in Ekurhuleni and in eThekwini. So we were trying to get a stability pact for all the metros, but when they decided to sponsor the motion of no confidence in CILLIERS, that obviously then came to an end.
Yeah. So does this mean that the Democratic Alliance, as far as it's concerned, that stability pact will remain in jeopardy if CILLIERS is not elected tomorrow as mayor?
Well, there won't be a stability pact unless CILLIERS is reinstated. It just will not exist.
So meaning that the Democratic Alliance will walk away from those conversations?
Yes, we won't be in those conversations anymore.
Okay. Do you have a deadline?
Well, tomorrow is obviously the deadline because the vote happens tomorrow.
Helen Zille says here they had a stability pact that they had between the ANC and the Democratic Alliance, especially for the metros. Now, she says that was put in jeopardy by the ANC supporting the motion of no confidence against CILLIERS. Said if tomorrow CILLIERS is not reinstated, that stability pact will be in jeopardy and it's over. That's what she's saying. She's saying it is over. It will be over. So now, if they have the stability pact that they have, and according to its terms of agreement that they had between the two of them, is that they keep their leaders in the metros. And the ANC came and broke that agreement. Is it right to say Helen Zille is bullying the ANC? Is it right to say Panyaza Lesotho has a right to fight against these things? So, don't even know what I'm saying. But Helen Zille has a point here. If we agreed on something that this is how we are going to work and these are the terms, and you broke those terms, which means whatever we agreed on is null and void. Anyway, with that said, guys, thank you for watching my videos and I really appreciate it. And thank you to those who watch my ads in full. It really goes a long way. This is South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here.